Good morning, everyone. Today is 18th of January, and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, apologies, I was not able to stream video for past few days. I got infected with the COVID-19, and because of that, I was not able to do that. Okay, and now again we are resuming, and now every day it will be streamed live from Monday to Saturday, 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Live stream will be there. Now, in the today's newspaper analysis, we will be taking the entire discussion of the Hindu newspaper. We'll also see if there are some relevant articles into the Indian Express explained section, and the entire PDF that I will be using here. You can download the PDF from the Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram has been given in the description box. Now, let's see the first of all the overview of the relevant articles into the today's newspaper. So guys, here you can see that first of all we go to the Indian Express explained section. So the first article is talking about the Ravi Dasiyas of the Punjab. So the election has been postponed into the Punjab. So basically the Ravi Dasiyas, one of a community into the Punjab. Okay, what implication or impact onto them will be there? However, with respect to the UPSC, this article is not relevant. Please leave this particular article. Then further, Afia Siddiqui, Pak women linked to Texas terror. Again, not at all important article for your examination. Then how the center chooses the tableau for the Republic Day parade. Okay, guys, there are certain of the tableaus from the few states which have been rejected. So therefore, such article has come. However, these all articles are not at all important for your examination. So please avoid them. Then we reach to the Hindu newspaper. Now guys, into the Hindu newspaper, first of all, one thing I need to tell you here, see, when as now we are taking the coverage, there is one basically the one of the additional section that is there into the Hindu section. I will show you first of all. Just a minute. Fine. This is the text and the context. Now this text and the context page is there. Fine, we include this also. Now this you can say that it is an equivalent of the Indian Express explained. Now I think that into the physical copy that you are receiving, it this page is not there. Fine, so this is just one thing I wanted to clarify. Now let's take the overview. So on to the page number 1, the Punjab polling will now held on February 20. Fine, such thing is there. Fine, nothing very much important however into this particular article. Then guys, here we can see that the Supreme Court voices concern for the children hit by the third wave of the pandemic. So under we'll see that what is the issue that has come here. Fine. Then guys, further moving on, India helping the world deal with the pandemic, Prime Minister. So India being the pharmacy of the world is helping into this particular direction. It has been provided. Fine. However, what much of a substance is not there. Then further moving on into this particular direction, guys, after that need more time to decide stand on to the marital rape. Now this particular article will see that what this entire marital rape issue is and what has been said by the center. Then guys, further moving on, the political news etc has been mentioned, not at all important. Now here we can see just one particular dimension. See, as the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has come into this particular direction, what has happened actually, the known COVID patients, they are being turned by the hospitals, and this particular thing is, I believe, it is a kind of an injustice that is happening. Though the COVID relief is very much important, but turning away the people diagnosed with some another kind of deadly disease also basically is not good way. So a balancing act is needed into this particular direction. Just one dimension we can add, basically how where we can add it in GS paper number 4 into the topic number 1. There is the applied ethics. Into the applied ethics, the medical ethics comes. So into the medical ethics, the basically the decision makers need to consider the other people's problems also. This is the thing that has been provided here. Fine. Then guys, the Gati Shakti, Gadkari meets southern leaders. Now into the article, nothing is important there. But what is this Gati Shakti? Now guys, the Gati Shakti, it is a plan where the center government will invest more than 100 lakh crore rupees in creating the infrastructure. So this is the national basically Gati Shakti. It is an infrastructure pipeline. Fine, which is just there. Then guys, further moving on, after that we reach to the editorial page, and the first editorial, India's watchwords in not so bright 2022. So what are the challenges in 2022 on terms of the foreign policy front? Such thing have been provided. We'll see this article. Then just what the doctor ordered for the livestock farmers. So basically the mobile veterinary units have been discussed. So with respect to GS paper number 3, we'll see this article. Then the chance and the change, basically guys, it is talking about the elections into the Punjab, and how the all the political parties, they are missing out on some core agendas. This thing has been talked about. Fine, political article not important for our examination. Then guys, further moving on, after that red lines. Now this particular article, it is talking about the Lithuania and China crisis that is going on, and how the Lithuania China crisis will have an impact on India. We'll see this article under GS paper number 2. Still speaking to Indians today, so basically rebels against the Raj. Fine. So this is a book review that has been discussed here into this particular article. A train to unite Kerala. So this is a silver line project. We'll see that what this entire project is all about. Then a mandate for the governors. So basically one particular aspect has how the governors are not clearing the will into a time frame manner has been discussed. We'll see with respect to GS paper number 2. Fine. Then the tableaus have been rejected for certain of the states. Okay, so now this is again a political controversy that has been started. Not, you are not needed to see into this particular direction. Then guys, further moving on, after that the page number 9, it is filled completely with the political news. Fine. Then after that guys, further moving on, vaccination for 12 to 14 age group will be started most likely into the March. So now as we see that the different waves of COVID-19 are coming, the vaccination groups wider coverage is being given. Already 15 to 18 age group children it has been allowed. Now we are moving into the 12 to 14 age group. But just one particular thing I want to raise here is that basically around the world scientific community has one particular opinion. It is there that do we actually need to vaccinate the children, because within the children the impact of the COVID-19 has been very much limited. Is it clear? So this is just one kind of a thing. Molnupiravir kept out of norms for treatment of adult patients. So earlier we have seen that the Molnupiravir it was approved, but now it has been said that very limited impact is there. So now under the treatment it is not being recommended. Then the Kathak, basically the Kathak legend Pandit Birju Maharaj has basically his demise has been there yesterday, that is on to the 17th January. So we will see about the Birju Maharaj. Then further moving on. So then guys, on to the world's page, Xi Jinping rejects Cold War mentality. So basically we will be taking the entire article onto the China. So there will cover this particular article. Germany vow to do all the guarantee do all to guarantee Ukraine's security. Now guys, in the Europe basically there is a Ukraine. On the Ukraine the crisis is emerging where the Russia is becoming very much intimidating onto the Ukraine. Clear? And because the Russia is becoming intimidated onto the Ukraine, the democratic countries, okay, or basically the countries who are against the Russia, they are using the Ukraine as a proxy ground. So into this particular direction, the Germany is also taking a side that in order to protect Ukraine, whatever is to be done, they will do. So basically it is a kind of an indirect message that has been sent to the Russia. Vaccinate whole world to end the pandemic. Is it clear? So guys, this particular one dimension we will be taking in one more article that has been there. North Korea fires more missiles. Now guys, this particular development is disturbing to the regional peace that has been there. Then further moving on to the business page, China's economy grows 8.1%. Not very much important article to see into this particular direction. Then we can see that the third wave of Omicron, it is basically impacting the economic prospects. Fine, we have seen just the advanced economic forecast were released where it was said that 9.2% GDP growth will be there, but all these kind of things are being dented by the Omicron. Then further guys, then the sports page comes, and after that we reach to the text and the context. And into the text and the context page, the inequality kills, a study for the new Oxfam report has been there. We'll see this particular article, a very good article with respect to our GS paper number 2, inequality. We will see this thing. So that is all guys about the important articles that we will be taking up today. And now let's take the analysis into the detail. Okay, now starting up. So as we do in our every class, let's start with the GS quote for today. So today we will be taking a quote from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. Ambedkar says, the Constitution is not a mere lawyer's document. It is a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. So basically guys, when we talk about the constitution has been called as an evolving document. It has been called as a living document. Why? Because as a living organism changes itself with the changing times, the constitution also changes itself. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had said that the constitution is not a lawyer's document. Okay, it is just a kind, it is a vehicle of life. Every citizen, every of the participant in a democracy need to know about the constitution, need to live in sync with the constitution. The spirit of the constitution, fine, here it has been said that the spirit of constitution is always the spirit of the age. As the age will change, as the time will be changing, as the new values will be coming, fine, into the same way the constitution will also evolve. So constitution is not a time capsule, it is a evolving document. Now this particular dimension we can use in GS paper number 2 into the answers related to the polity. In essay also you can provide this particular dimension. So that is all about it. And now let's take the first article. Now the first article, that is the Inequality Kills, a study of the new Oxfam report. So guys, first of all let's see this context and then we will analyze that where we will be using this particular article. So guys, the background first of all. So the background goes like this, that over the last 2 years we have seen this particular thing again and again, that this COVID-19 pandemic, it is bringing again a large inequality into the world. Guys, last year we have seen that the particular term, that is the K-shaped recovery, became very much popular. What is this K-shaped recovery? It has been seen that as the pandemic started, what happened? First of all, we have seen that this particular thing, that the entire economy went into a slump. But after that, rapidly what has happened? There is a kind of a rapid growth of the industries which are involved into the technology sector. The formal sector started to grow, but at the same time, there were the people involved into the informal sector. They were not able to rebound back, and basically their economic recovery always became stagnated, even it went down. So therefore a K-shaped recovery was there, where one particular sector was seeing a rapid growth and the another sector, that is the informal sector of the economy, it was facing a large number of crises. Now you see this particular thing, that as this K-shaped recovery is there, as this particular gap is increasing, what this particular gap represents? This gap represents the increasing inequality in the world. So basically guys, but just you don't need to go too much into the detail. If you use these particular words such as the K-shaped recovery and all these kind of things into the answers where you are writing about the inequality, it authenticates your answers. Fine. So basically the inequality is increasing. Now guys, on to the inequality, a new report, a new version of the report, that is the Oxfam report on the inequality, has been published. What is the name of a report? Name of the report is Inequality Kills. So this Inequality Kills, it is a January 2022 or the 2022 report by the Oxfam. Now guys, the Oxfam, it is a UK based consortium or a group of 21 charitable organizations which have the global presence, and on the inequality related matters, the Oxfam, it is a very prestigious organization and its reports are trusted around the world. So the Oxfam's 2022 report has now come. Now what are the findings of this particular report? Let's see one by one. Number one guys, the report has provided this thing that 160 million people are now rendered poor during the pandemic, and as the 160 million people became poor, at the same time the 10 richest people, their income or their wealth, their fortunes have been doubled. And basically a new term has been given here by the Oxfam, that is the economic violence. Now guys, what is this idea of economic violence? It has been said that this extreme inequality that is coming, it is a form of an economic violence where systematically and structurally poor people, they are basically they are facing so many kind of problems. It has been provided here that see, when the lockdown comes, a rich person can live off his savings. Even the people who are into the tech sector, into the formal sector, they get a kind of a additional savings also. But the people who are marginal workers, who are the laborers, who are earning every day, onto them a kind of a violence comes. So this is an economic violence that had came out of the pandemic. Number one. After that guys, it has been provided that inequality is not only in terms of wealth, inequality is also in terms of ecological footprint. How ecological footprint? The report provides this particular thing, that the wealthiest 1% of the people, they are responsible for twice as many emission as the poorest 50% people. So whatever the emission are being done by the 50% poorest, the double emissions are being done by just 1% of the wealthy people. But guys, again one more dimension here, if I just add, when the impact of the climate change will come, okay, who will then again face the burnt will be again faced by the poor people. So into the ecological consumption also there is inequality that we can see. Then further moving on. Now it has also talked on one more dimension also. According to the Oxfam report, it has been said that as the lockdown got started, the government increased their expenditure. Is it clear? Because we see that the fiscal stimulus is given under in India also. Government came out with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and as a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, 20 lakh crore rupees package was given. So around the world, what has happened? The government increased their expenditure, but by this particular expenditure, only one particular section got impacted. Only one particular section got impacted. Who? The rich people. How? Basically, the stock prices got inflated by this additional money that was being pumped by the government, and because the stock prices inflated, what happened? The wealth of the already wealthy people, their wealth increased by $5 trillion during the pandemic, and it has been called as the billionaire variant. It has been called as the billionaire variant. Fine. Then the next thing that has been there is that basically because of the pandemic, the particular sections of the society, they had got impacted more. The inequality and the violence. Fine. The inequality and the violence against particular sections, for example, the women has increased, the Dalit have been increased in India, the black natives in America. Fine. Against them, the violence as well as their economic violence against them, it has increased. This thing has been provided. According to the report, 13 million women, they have not returned to the workforce, and 20 million women, they are at risk that they can lose their education. Is it clear? So again, what has happened? The gender inequality is also coming, and according to the Oxfam report, it has been said that now 135 years will be needed to correct the gender inequality that has come because of the pandemic. We need 135 years for that particular thing. Now what could be the solutions into this particular direction? So the solutions that has been provided is, number one, it is provided that the vaccine recipes, okay, the vaccine formulas needed to be made open source, so that the every pharmacy in the world can make the vaccines, and so that those vaccines can be provided to all the people. Fine. It has been provided that, see, when all the people have not been vaccinated, still a large chunk of people who have been uncovered, they are becoming the carriers of the COVID-19, and new variants are mutating into their bodies. So therefore, in order to remove that also, vaccines coverage need to be increased. So this is one thing. Secondly, it has asked that basically the governments, they need to tax the rich people. A new tax, that is a solidarity tax, needed to be imposed. Now into this solidarity tax, basically whatever the additional income that they had earned into the times of pandemic, nearly 90% of that particular income is needed to be taxed, and this particular money needed to be used for giving the social justice to the people. It has been said that government needs to crack down onto the tax havens. Progressive taxation onto the wealthy people is needed to be used. Onto the corporates, the tax, and more number of taxes needed to be there, and all this particular tax should be redirected in building the income safety to the poor people. Universalizing the healthcare for the everyone. Investment into the green technologies can be done by this particular money, as well as democratizing the world can be also be done by this particular money. For women, for the violence against the women, for the violence against the minorities, this particular again for reducing that, this particular money can be used. Moreover, it has been provided that now we need to strengthen the workers union, so that the workers can come out if there is any kind of their rights, if they are being violated. The political representation of marginalized groups, fine, it was also needed to be increased. Moreover, the human rights, they are needed to be emphasized more into these times of pandemic. So therefore, this is all the finding of this Oxfam report onto the inequality that has come. Guys, very good points have been given here. Please do utilize it. And one more kind of a term have been used here, that is the vaccine apartheid. What is this vaccine apartheid? Vaccine apartheid means that particularly the poor people into the Africa, they have not been given the vaccines, and this is a new discrimination that has come. So vaccine apartheid is a new term also that you can use. Now moving to the next article. Supreme Court voices concern for children hit by third wave. Now what is this particular article talking about? See, we have GS paper number 2. Within the GS paper number 2, there are the vulnerable section of the society that has been given, and within the vulnerable section of the society, the children are there, and therefore into this particular topic, this article will be important. Now first of all, let me tell you the background. So into the last two waves of the COVID-19, we have seen this thing that the children, they got largely impacted. How the children are getting impacted? Number one, guys, because of the closure of the schools, what happened, the education gets impacted. Second, the very big impact onto the children has been there, that their guardians, their parents, they got basically they died because of this COVID-19. So therefore the children's, they are becoming homeless, children's are becoming orphan. Fine. So into this particular direction, into the second wave also, the Supreme Court had asked the center government that they needed to do something for the children. Now the Supreme Court is saying that as this third wave has come, as this now third wave has come again, the children will be getting impacted. Now many number of children, they are ending up onto the streets as per by the Supreme Court. Many of the NGOs, many of the civil societies, public spirited individuals, they have reached the Supreme Court and had requested the Supreme Court that Supreme Court should pass certain orders so that the government can take certain steps into this particular direction. Now guys, when we talk about this, what has been said by Supreme Court had said that we need to first of all collect the information about the children who had rendered homeless because of the COVID-19. We need to we need to collect the information regarding the social background of the children who had got become orphan. Fine. Moreover, individual care plans are needed to be prepared for the children. Fine. Individual care plan are needed to be prepared for the children as how they can be given the support. Moreover, the child welfare committees under the juvenile justice law that has been there, find the child welfare committees, they are needed to be given a specific mandate that they needed to look into the well-being of such kind of a children, and they needed to make sure that how the children can be given all the legal benefits. Now guys, when we talk about the children, there is one particular organization or one particular body, that is the NCPCR, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So National Commission for Protection of Child Rights make sure that the children, they are not ending in some kind of ventures. For example, they are not ending up into the labor. The children, they are being given the education all over, their rights are being ensured. So NCPCR is given a mandate. Now guys, since this COVID-19 pandemic began, the NCPCR is compiling the data of the children who are becoming homeless or who are becoming orphan, and there is one particular web-based portal that is there, that is the Bal Swaraj portal. Now onto this particular Bal Swaraj portal, the children's information can be uploaded, that okay, who have lost their parents. And onto this particular Bal Swaraj portal, the NCPR says that we are keeping a track, and nearly 1,50,000 children's data has been there onto the Bal Swaraj portal who became homeless. So but the problem which comes here into this Bal Swaraj portal is that basically guys, it has been said that very less number of children's data is actually there. In fact, more than around 1 million children got homeless, but here around 1.5 lakh children's data is there. So basically this portal is needed to be further expedited, and in sync with the ground realities, it needed to be updated. The court has even asked this particular thing to the NCPCR. Now the court has said that there are certain ways in which we can make sure that the children are not ending up onto the street. The Supreme Court had said that the traffic policemen are needed to be given a special responsibility, that whenever they find that the children, let's say they are begging onto the street or they are onto the signals, they can alert the authorities. Which authorities? They can alert the child welfare committees, or they can alert one more authorities there, that is the district child protection units. So the DCPUs, they can alert and they can take the special effort that how to rescue these children from the street. They can then be put into the institutional care and all such kind of things. So this is guys the entire issue that has been there. I hope that you have understood it. And now see, basically using such kind of references, that is the Bal Swaraj portal, giving the reference of Supreme Court, actually helps you into the exam. So please, if possible, do it. So that is all about this article. And now let's move to the next article. Need more time to decide stand on marital rape, center tells High Court. So basically guys, when we talk about rape, fine, Section 375 and Section 376 deals with the rape, the definition of rape and the punishment with respect to the rape. Now, what is a rape? Rape is a sexual activity that has been done by with a woman without her consent. Now, guys, the rape is a punishable offense, but there is one particular exception into the definition of rape. This particular exception goes like this: that if there is an institution of marriage, two people are married, and if the husband husband is doing a sexual intercourse with the women, even when the women doesn't want it or when the consent is not there, that particular act will not be called as a rape. So it has been assumed that if a marriage has happened, the woman has given the consent for eternity, that whenever the husband wants, husband can go for a sexual intercourse. The consent doesn't matters. This particular thing comes, why? Because into the definition of rape, the exception is there. Fine. So husband committing any sexual intercourse, it will not be punishable. So in India, the marital rape is not a crime. Therefore, it has been said that actually the marital rape in India is the biggest form of sexual violence which is happening in the confines of our home. Is it clear? Now, when we talk about this particular thing, guys, it will become important in the GS paper number 2, issues related to the women. In GS paper number 1 also the women has been mentioned, so there also it will be important. Now, guys, again and again, the petitions have been sent to the Supreme Court as well as into the High Courts, and it has been said that the marital rape, which is not a crime, is now needed to be made a crime, and we needed to carry an amendment. Is it clear? Now, into this particular direction, what has happened? Large number of NGOs, large number of women groups, they have reached to the courts. Now, guys, the center had provided this particular thing, that they are thinking that what is to be done into this particular direction. Now, guys, first of all, when we talk about originally, it was provided that if any kind of a sexual intercourse is being done with a wife who is aged above 15, it will not be rape. Now the age though has been increased from 15 years to 18 years, but still after that the marital rape will not be considered. Now the what center government had said, that we are considering a constructive approach. Is it clear? The issue of criminalizing the marital rape, fine, is important, but it will only be criminalized after taking the considerations from all the stakeholders. It has been provided that the principle of natural justice requires this particular thing, that a larger hearing from all the stakeholders is needed to be done before taking one particular step. And into this particular thing, we need more time to decide onto the marital rape. This particular thing has been provided. Fine. So guys, let's see that what happens finally into this particular direction. So that is all just about this article, and now let's move to the next article. Now, red lines. So this particular article, red lines, this particular article, it will be important in our GS paper number 2. This particular article will be important into the GS paper number 2. Fine. Issues related to the world affairs or international issues. Fine. Now let's move on further. Okay. First of all, thank you everyone for your such kind wishes. Okay, sir, which GS paper? Okay, this article, GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 1, and this particular article will be in GS paper number 2. Now, let's move on. So basically, guys, what has happened? There is a new round of crisis or the new round of confrontation that has begin between the China and the Lithuania. Is it clear? Now, guys, when we talk about the Lithuania, fine, Lithuania is in basically the Lithuania, it is in Europe. Now, what is this particular crisis between the Lithuania and China that has begun? Now, guys, the crisis which has begun, it has started the last year. What has happened? The Lithuania, it has opened up the Taiwanese representative office. Is it clear? Now, guys, we know this particular thing, that we have China, and then we have Taiwan. Okay. Now see this particular thing. First of all, talking about a little bit of a background. Basically, guys, the China, it maintains the one China principle, one China policy. It maintains the one China policy. Now, what is this one China policy which is being maintained by the China? China says that there is only one China and the Taiwan is the part of that particular mainland China. China says that the Taiwan is not an independent country, okay, and therefore China asks the world countries also that they need not to recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. One China policy is one of a aspect of the China's non-negotiable policy. Is it clear? So therefore, guys, many of the world countries, they have not recognized Taiwan separately. Even India, when maintaining the diplomatic relation, we recognize only the mainland China. Though with Taiwan, we have all the types of relation, but we have not recognized the complete sovereignty of Taiwan. So this is the one China policy, and many of the countries maintain it. Now guys, when what happened when the Lithuania announced the Taiwanese representative office, the problem that came here is that why the Lithuania is using the name Taiwan. Around the world, the Taiwan as a name is not used. In India also we have the representative office for the Taiwan, but what we call it as Tepi economic and cultural centers. We have not used the word Taiwan, but the Lithuania used specifically the word Taiwan, which has not been liked by the China. China is saying that indirectly you are recognizing Taiwan as an independent country, and this particular thing will go against the one China principle, one China policy. And according to the China, it you had what you have done, you had crossed one of the most sensitive red line that should not have been crossed. This particular thing has been done. Now guys, not only this was the thing, many other developments have also happened into the Lithuania. For example, what had happened in Lithuania after the elections, a new coalition government has been formed, and this new coalition government, it is talking about the importance of the democratic values. Now guys, why these democratic values are impacting the China? It is impacting the China because guys, indirectly the China has been criticized for many of their actions. For example, on the Hong Kong, we have seen that they had imposed the national security law, and basically the promise, that is the one country two system that was there, it has been broken. Hong Kong, which enjoyed much of a democratic status, their power is being taken by the China. Moreover, it has been said that the China, the way it treats its basically minorities into the Xinjiang region, the way in which the China is basically moving, it is very undemocratic. So this again has not been liked by the China. Then guys, what had happened, now the Lithuania's foreign policy is moving more closer with the Washington towards the US, and we see that there is a ideological conflict between the US and China also that is going on, that is also not liked by the China. So because of all these particular factors guys, it has been seen that the relations between the Lithuania and China got complicated. And now what has happened, basically that the ties between the China and Lithuania has been downgraded by the China. China had recalled their ambassador from the Lithuania. Moreover, the trade blockade has also been announced onto the Lithuania. Now what is this trade blockade that is there? China is asking the European companies that if they will trade with the Lithuania, they will not be able to export their goods to the China. So if they want to export their goods to the China, they need to stop all the interaction with the Lithuania. By this particular thing, the trade blockade has also been announced by the China. Is it clear? After that guys, basically because of this particular thing, the matters have become very much complicated, and the entire European Union is now very much confused that how to deal with this particular thing. Now guys, when we talk about the European Union, fine, just a minute. Now as we talk about the European Union, fine, there is one basically 828 billion annual trade that is there with the Beijing. So because of the economic importance of the China, they cannot go very harshly against the China because the economic relation is very high. But if they will go very softly, then it will give a kind of an indirect hint that they have basically adopted whatever the China is taking. They had given approval to the China's policy. So therefore the Europe is in a very sticky situation. Now guys, into this particular direction, if we see today the China, what is China doing? China is using their trade as a leverage, their economic power as a leverage, and by the economic blockade that they has announced onto the Lithuania, they are basically coercing the Lithuania. Now over the last few years, the China says that no, they don't use the power politics or the economic power. Fine, even basically recently the China had said that the power politics and the hegemony is not what the China adopts to. It has eschewed that particular idea. But again, here we can see that clearly China is using. Now whatever is being done by the Lithuania, it has a very important consideration for India, because guys, we see that against the India also the China has become very much confrontationist. Is it clear? So how the Lithuanian crisis will be taken by the Europe, it will set a new template, and within that particular template the India China equation will also be seen. So this is the entire issue that has come. Fine, so let's see that how it unfolds now. That is all guys about this particular article, and now let's move to the next article. India's watchword is not so bright 2022. Now is basically this article will be important for our GS paper number 2. Guys, it is just talking as what are the prospects for the India onto the foreign policy front into this 2022 year. However, the article is just giving a kind of a precursory highlight. Fine, let's see this. So now what the particular article is talking about, basically it says that now if we see in 2020 that democracy is into a serious danger. There is a serious kind of a headwinds that are there which might impact the democracies as well as the India. Now basically certain issues are there which has been talked into this particular article. Number one, it has been said that there are the challenges coming to the democracy. Number one, the rise of authoritarian rule. Fine, around the world, find the authoritarian rules, the basically the leaders, the cult personalities, they are rising. And by these when these cult personalities are ruling, they are bringing a kind of an authoritarianism. Guys, even into the China, when we see that the Xi Jinping will be renewing his term now, and he is also living by a kind of a cult of personality. So basically the authoritarian rule, it is increasing into the world. The China, when we talk about the China today, China's net worth is more than the USA. Is it economically China has become a hegemon? Fine. Even onto the military front, China is openly challenging the USA into the South China Sea, into the Pacific. It is everywhere challenging the USA. So therefore, guys, abhi we have just seen that the hypersonic technology has also been demonstrated by the China. All these particular thing, it is reducing the democratic countries clout, countries weight in the world. China had openly abandoned the one country two system. Fine, onto the Hong Kong, they have imposed the new law. Fine, the Hong Kong's freedom has been curtailed. Fine. Now, by this particular thing, the China is openly challenging the democratic institution. Now, when the Taiwan question is there, okay, openly onto the Taiwan also, China is showing so much of a heavy hand. Even we have seen that in Lithuania, when the Taiwanese representative office just got inaugurated, onto that particular thing also the China has come down very openly. So this is a kind of a threat to the democratic world which has been there, and in 2022 it will further increase as suggested by the article. Then the Russia Ukraine conflict is there. Basically, guys, we see that in 2022 actual war can even erupt. Fine. So if we see, guys, the Ukraine, clear. Basically, now the Russia, it holds a special interest into the Ukraine, because the Russia, it has a belief that basically the Ukraine is becoming westernized. Ukraine is going into the influence of the USA and other European countries. Is it clear? And because the Ukraine was being seen that it is getting westernized, the Crimea was annexed by the Russia earlier, and now Russia is overly again and again interfering in Ukraine. Now, guys, the Ukraine has become a proxy ground of the war between Russia and between the democratic countries such as the USA onto the another hand. And this particular thing can bring an actual crisis, actual war into the Ukraine in 2022. So this is a particular thing that has happened. Now, guys, the USA and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization are on one hand, and the Russia is onto the another hand. Second thing is that the Kazakhstan crisis that is going on. Guys, already we have seen that basically just few days back the crisis started into the Kazakhstan, where first of all the president announced the hike, he basically reduced the subsidies onto the LPG. Because of that, the inflation increased, and the people started protesting against the president and began against the old regime. The old man out campaign got started there. Fine. And what happened? The Kazakhstan reached to the Russia, asked the help of the Russians, and the Russians sent the troop into the Kazakhstan. Is it clear? Now, guys, as the Russian troops have come into the Kazakhstan, the people, they have not seen that particular thing in a positive light. They say that that is an undue interference that has happened, and now the world countries are also taking it as an opportunity and as a political crisis. This particular issue is being made. So this particular Kazakhstan crisis that has been there, it is also bringing a kind of a new challenge. Then, guys, there are large number of coups that also had happened around the world. Fine. So basically there is a Ethiopia, Libya, fine, West Asia, North Africa. Fine, the coups are going on. Particularly the Myanmar coup was also there, which we have seen in 2021. All these particular things are a big challenge that is coming. Now, guys, the Taliban's return to in the Afghanistan is also very much disturbing. We have seen that as the Taliban has come to the power in the Afghanistan, basically it is indirectly the victory for the Pakistan. Is it clear? Because we see that the Pakistan and the Taliban, they are both hand in glove. So this is one more kind of a problem. Then in the Indonesia also, the radical Islamism is increasing. Fine. The Jemaah Islamiyah, Fine, it is becoming more active into the Indonesia, and into the past it has some kind of a track record that it has involved into the terrorism and radicalization. Now if into the Indonesia such kind of an organizations will become powerful, what will happen, the Indonesia will become a fertile ground for the radical Islamist activities. Is it clear? And from there the spillover effect onto the India can also happen. This is another problem that is there. Then in 2022 we see that India is also having one more problem, how to deal with the China, which has become much more confrontational. Is it clear? Onto the LAC, China had already become confrontational. Now the Arunachal Pradesh, the 15 places in Arunachal Pradesh, they have been given the Chinese name. So this confrontationist attitude of China, how to deal with it, this is also a big problem that is there. Fine. Then further moving on, the next that problem that is there basically is that how the India will deter the China into the Indian Ocean region. Now the China's naval power is also something which India has to deal. Fine. Now guys, even into basically when we talk about the weapons program of the China is giving publicity to its low yield nuclear weapons. Now guys, what are these low yield nuclear weapons? Low yield nuclear weapons are the one which can be used into the conventional warfare, into the battlefield they can be used. Is it clear? So by this particular thing, China had got an additional advantage. Then the next thing that is there is basically guys, India, it is also having another problems also within the Central Asia and the West Asia. Large number of crises are going on. Fine guys, basically if we see within within the region of the West Asia, recently the second quad has also been inaugurated. What is the second quad? There are the four countries, that is the India is there, Israel is there, UAE is there, and the USA is there. So the second quad is there. India is a member, but as the second quad is being made, some another countries got irritated, they got frustrated, particularly the Iran. Is it clear? Now how we will deal that we are members of quad also, and we need to maintain the relation with the other countries also. So how the Saudi Arabia, Iran, they will be accommodated? This is the problem that India had to balance itself with. So these are all the challenges that will be there into the year 2022, and India need to be very careful. So guys, this is a snapshot of these entire issues. Please be very careful. That is all about this particular article. And now let's move to the next article. Just what the doctor ordered for the livestock farmer. So guys, this is just talking about one important development into the livestock sector that has happened, and this article will therefore be important for our GS paper number 3, agriculture and animal husbandry. Agriculture and animal husbandry, GS paper number 3, this article will be important. Now just before that, let's take some of the background. Basically guys, when we talk about the livestock in India, the livestock has been a very important part of the rural economy. Is it clear? Recently the 20th livestock census was held, and it was provided that in India the livestock population is around 537 million. Clear? And many of these animals, the cows, the buffaloes, fine, the larger part of this particular these animals, they are into the rural areas. Nearly 95.8% or 96% of the livestock population, it is concentrated into the rural areas. Fine, one thing. But guys, at the same time, as these animals are there, they need the medical care, they need the veterinary care. But the veterinary services, they ideally they should have been into the villages, into the rural areas, because 96% animals are there. But where these services are, they are into the urban centers, they are into the urban towns. And because of this, the farmer or the basically the livestock owner had to travel so many of the kilometers. Many times the essential care is not being able to be delivered to the animal. All these problems are there. So therefore guys, what had happened, the government has basically identified this particular problem and had started the mobile veterinary units, MVUs, mobile veterinary units. So basically uh, the livestock health and disease control program has been started. Fine, livestock health and disease control program has been started, and under this livestock health and disease control program, fine, the establishment and strengthening of the veterinary services was there. And how to strengthen the veterinary services? Through the mobile veterinary units. Now when we talk about the stationary hospitals, fine, the hospitals in a building, fine, brick and mortar hospitals, they have a limitation, they cannot cater to the large number of people. But these mobile van units, they are just the vehicles, and these vehicles, they have the they have the facility of one veterinarian that is there, one para veterinarian that will be there, one driver attendant will be there. They can go to the different villages and can provide their services to the farmers. Fine. These mobile veterinary units that are there, they have the essential equipment for the diagnosis of the disease. Fine. The treatment and minor surgeries can be carried into these mobile veterinary units. Then after that, basically the audio visual aids are also there for the generation, for the education of the farmers. Fine. And these all the mobile units, they are GPS tracked, so that it can be seen that okay, whether actually they are moving or not, whether actually they are going to the rural areas or not. So all these particular things have been there. Now guys, further moving on, when we talk about these mobile veterinary units, they are very much important. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on the Union Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, fine, the Parliamentary Standing Committee has provided this, that into the rural areas there are the inadequate testing and treatment facilities, and this have been a very big challenge for the farmers. And now we see that the zoonotic diseases, the viruses that are actually being basically, which are being harbored into the animals, these zoonotic diseases have become very much problematic. So therefore, tracking the health of the animals become very much important. So therefore, these mobile van units can be very much important. Fine. Now guys, when we talk about it, now we see that the antimicrobial resistance, fine, it has increased. Moreover, we have come out with the One Health vision. Now what is this One Health vision? It has been said that if the man needs to be healthy, the environment needs to be healthy, the animals need to be healthy, the man's health is correct, it is directly connected to the environment and to the animals, and therefore to keep the animals healthy is very much important. So therefore, this One Health vision will be fulfilled if the better services in the form of the MVUs are being provided. Guys, there was also the MK Jain committee report. MK Jain committee report. MK Jain committee report. It has a committee has provided that livestock farmers in India, they face great challenges. Fine, when compared to the traditional agricultural farmers. Fine, they are not able to get the credit. Fine, their livestock insurance are often not available. So therefore, reaching to them becomes very much important. When we talk about the households having the livestock, they have 2 to 4 animals per household. Clear. And enhancing the longevity of their animals is very much important in order to reduce their poverty. Clear. If they are having two of the animals, and out of the two, if one died, basically what will happen, the income will go down substantially. So actually, to reduce the rural poverty, taking care of their animals becomes very much important. Then guys, next, when we talk about these mobile veterinary units, they are already successfully operating into the states such as the Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Telangana, West Bengal, and now into the entire India. They are needed to be scaled up. It has been provided that there is basically MVUs, they will also bring the employment opportunities for large number of veterinarians, assistants. Is it clear? Into the times of the lockdown and pandemic, they had got suffered. Now into these MVUs, they could be given the employment. Fine. That is the thing that has been provided here. Now there is a great scope for intervention, and through the public private partnership model, many of these MVUs can further be explored. So this is guys a very good initiative that has been started, and it has a large basically positive it will bring a great positive impact onto the farmers. Fine. So that is all just about this particular article. We can use it in our GS paper number 3, as already I have told you. Okay, meanwhile there is a some of the questions, let's take them also. Sir, as on Sundays we have no the Hindu analysis, can we take that day for ethics case study or concept discussion in morning? Okay, Shahid, we can see if the feasibility comes onto that particular respect, we can explore that. Fine. Okay, that is all about it. And now moving to the next article, a train to unite Kerala. So it is talking about the Silver Line project that is there. Fine. So guys, with respect to into the GS paper number 3 infrastructure, we can use this article. GS paper number 3 infrastructure, we can use this particular article. Let's see that what this particular article is talking about. Basically, when we talk about guys, recently the Silver Line project has become very much basically popular, or you can say controversial into the past few months. First of all, let's see what this Silver Line project is all about. So it is a proposed 530 kilometers north-south infrastructure project that is there. Basically guys, it has been provided that the northernmost part of the Kerala, fine, particularly the Kasargod will be connected to the southernmost part of the Kerala, that is to the Tiruvananthapuram. Fine. Now basically, if we see guys, the Kerala, if we see the Kerala, we find this particular thing that the north to south connect into the Kerala is very much important. Is it clear? But this connect has not been very much successful. Why? Because the highways, they have been very much strained. Is it clear? Basically, there is a huge traffic stress that is there into the Kerala. Number one, the topography of the Kerala is such that the many number of roads, projects, etc. cannot be developed. But moreover, the Kerala is very much recurrent to the floods. High forest cover is there. Ecologically fragile western ghats are there. So therefore, the connectivity into the Kerala, particularly the north to south connectivity, has not been very much good. And in order to deal with it, this Silver Line project has been proposed. Now it has been said that this new Silver Line track, it can transport 80,000 people daily, and basically large number of car trips that is there, then they can be avoided. Is it clear? And as these car trips can be avoided, many of the accidents which happened onto the roadways, it will also be reduced. It will lead to much of the cost saving also. Then next thing that has been provided, that actually the emission, vehicular emission, will also be reduced. So it will be a green project, it will be an economically good project. It has been suggested by many of the people. Now it has been said that this project is actually very much important for the survival of the Kerala's economy also. If we talk about the Kerala, 92% of the population into the Kerala is urbanized, and the urbanized population, as when the population become urban, fine, they are involved in more manufacturing activities, service sector, and obviously these manufacturing, the service sector in which they are working, for them they had to commute from their house to their workplaces. So the commutation is a very important part into urbanized economy, and the Kerala is 92% urbanized, so the good transportation is needed to be there. Moreover guys, the next thing that has been provided is that the large tourism potential is there into the Kerala, and many times because of not very good transportation, the tourist economy of the Kerala also gets impacted. So basically, if this particular project is built, the average retention of the tourist, it will increase. Find more number of tourists can come into the Kerala. But what are the criticism of this particular project? Now let's see them. So critics are like this, that first of all, the debt financing, it has been said that fine, we see that around 64,000 crore rupees project it is. Fine, from where the money will be coming? The money will be taken onto the debt. Now that this debt servicing will become very much problematic. The interest payments onto this particular debt will become very much problematic. So this debt financing is a problem that is there. Now it has been said that it will also lead to a large displacement of the people. Is it clear? Many of the families will be displaced, their rehabilitation will be a problematic thing. Then there is an environmental concern also. Now guys, as this particular project will be made, basically in order to support this particular track, at regular intervals the embankments are to be constructed. Now guys, these embankments many a times will become ecologically problematic, because guys, the topography of the Kerala is such that the topography is east to west. The topography is east to west. Many of the rivers are taking the topography's course, and they are the flowing into one particular kind of a direction. So if this particular topography will be disturbed, if we will construct the embankment, so this is one ecological problem that will come. It will impact the drainage which is east to west. Then the next thing that has been there is that actually this one project is not very much sufficient to deal with all the traffic problems of the Kerala. Is it clear? So it has been said that along with this Silver Line project, there are many other eco-friendly ways also which can be explored, particularly the waterways. Clear, large number of rivers are there into the Kerala. These rivers can be developed at waterways, and they can be explored. They will be even more eco-friendly. So this is all about this particular Silver Line project, and it has been said that with the due consultation and deliberation, this particular project is to be taken up. So this is all about this particular article. And now let's move to the next article. A mandate for governors. A mandate for governors. Now guys, what this particular article is talking about, it is talking on to the role of the governor, and this particular article then will be important for our GS paper number 2, issues related to the polity. Now see, before going into this particular article guys, I will tell you certain background that is there. Clear? See, it has been said that basically guys, when we see within the state we have two types of executive. Within the state we have two types of executive. Clear? One is the governor, and other is the chief minister and their council of minister. Now when we talk about the governor has been called as the nominal executive, and the chief minister and their council of minister, they have been called as the real executive. Clear? Whenever the bill is passed, bill is referred to the governor. Clear? And then the governor will either the governor can give the assent to the bill, the governor can return the bill, the governor can keep the bill for the president's consent. Okay, all these things could be there. Now many times it has been seen that when the bill is being referred to the governor, governor is neither giving the assent to the bill, nor governor is sending the bill to the president, nor the governor is returning the bill, just governor is sitting onto the bill. So therefore the state government says that this particular thing goes against the principle of democracy. Fine. As the chief minister and the council of minister, they have been directly elected by the people, and as they are the real executive. Okay, so whatever effort that they have taken, this entire effort is being done by the governor, who is actually a nominated person, from the union government. So basically the union government through the governor is interfering into the developmental activities of a state, because governor many times is not taking any decision onto the bills. It has been said that why governor is not taking decision, because he has been directed by the state government, union government. So the union government is trying to interfere. So therefore now the demand is coming. The demand is to mandate governors to act within a time frame onto the files, including the legislations that has been sent to the Raj Bhavan, to the governor. It has been said that particularly Tamil Nadu has been very much active onto this particular matter. Recently even the All India Presiding Officers Conference was held, and into this All India Presiding Officers Conference it has been said that a time frame is needed to be fixed for the government. It has been said that the basic principle of democracy is that when the assembly had invoked its rights, when it has passed a law, the governor should respect it and should give it his approval. Fine. Moreover, it has been said that the constitution has placed a fiduciary duty onto the governor to act within a reasonable time frame, and when the governor is not acting within a reasonable time frame, he is going against this fiduciary duty, he is breaking the trust of the constitution. So therefore the recommendations that has been made is that basically constitutionally we need to set a binding time frame within the bills must receive the assent or be returned or reserved for the consideration of the president by the governor. Now guys, it is because the Tamil Nadu government had recently brought a bill abolishing the NEET. Clear? And as this particular thing is not being taken up, so this particular thing is coming. However, we will not go into that particular dimension because it has become a political matter. We need to see the concept, which is actually important for our UPSC examination. So I hope that you have understood it. So guys, this is just the entire suggestion that has come, that we need to come out with a specific time frame so that the fiduciary duty, fiduciary role of a governor can be taken up. This is all about this particular article, and now let's move to the next article. Kathak legend painted a divine romance on the stage. So this is talking about the Pandit Birju Maharaj, whose demise has happened yesterday, that is on to the 17th of January. Now guys, when we talk about the Birju Maharaj, the Birju Maharaj is a well-renowned name not only into the India but into the entire world. Fine. The Birju Maharaj, he was the prolific Indian dancer, particularly known for the Kathak. Fine. He was exponent of the Lucknow Gharana of the Kathak dance. Now the Birju Maharaj, he belonged to the Maharaj family of the Kathak dancers. Now the Maharaj family of Kathak dancers, they have been prolific dancers, and the two of the uncles of Birju Maharaj, they have also mastered the Kathak, that is the Shambhu Maharaj and Lachu Maharaj, and the father of the Birju Maharaj was the Achan Maharaj. Fine. And the Birju Maharaj, fine, he also practiced the Hindustani classical music as well as along with the Kathak. Is it clear? So guys, this is about the Birju Maharaj's demise that had happened now. Fine. So this is all about this. Now guys, this particular year, as you will be preparing for the prelims, I will just advise you, please prepare onto the Kathak dance. Is it clear? So just that is one thing. That is all about this particular article, guys. I hope that you have understood it. And now with this, we have come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Now we will be meeting tomorrow live at 6:30 a.m. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.